We're going to make a simple pot with the air drying kit from Create & Craft. The clay is ready to use, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll this clay out. Got two rolling guides here. This is so that we get clay of an even thickness. So we're going to use a little rolling pin, and it's much the same as rolling out pastry. I do recommend that as you roll the clay, every couple of rolls you actually rotate the clay and every so often turn it over. This way you keep a sort of consistent shape. So I'm going to make a simple tile shape with this one, and this is the sort of thing that you could make, or your child could make, for their bedroom door or putting their drinks on. As long as the pots are painted and they don't get wet, they'll stand the test of time. Once I'm happy with the rolling, we can take one of the modelling tools. We can then use the rolling guides as a ruler. It's best to work on a fabric surface, so an old tea towel or piece of cloth. If you work directly onto a formica surface, the clay will stick. You can save these pieces and use them again later. As long as the clay hasn't dried out, we can still use it. The clay itself will dry out overnight, and then it will be dry enough and hard enough to paint. Once we've got that, we've got a whole variety of tools here, and we can use these to mark the surface, like so. Just smoothing that off with my thumb and finger. If you wanted to, say for instance, you could actually make this into a simple little picture frame or a mirror frame, and that would mean then the removal of the inner part, you can see, even though the plastic tools aren't actually sharp, you're able to cut out the centre, and so this is ideal for small children. You don't have to have any sharp implements or sharp tools. And then the centre can be removed, and again smoothed off with the finger, and there you've got a simple frame. Basically, you would want that to be left to dry as flat as possible overnight, and then once that's dry, we can actually paint that with the acrylic paints. The little bit that's left over, this is not wasted. You could make this into a simple fridge magnet, So we could maybe use one of the other tools, say this one, where we could put a series of small dots. Around the edge. You'll also notice I'm not using any water with this. I think with very small children, it's probably better not to introduce water at this stage, as it can get extremely messy. But for adults who are a little bit more responsible, we can use a little bit of water to soften the edge or sponge it. You can also use any sort of items that are found around the house to emboss and mark the surface of the clay. The only barrier is your own imagination. There we go. So we're going to do a little fish. For a tool that looks as if it resembles fishy scales. And then finally, a little dot for an eye. And there we go. So out of one small pack, we've got a simple picture frame or mirror frame, and the centre we've cut out and used to make a shape that could form a fridge magnet. So these will be left overnight, and in the next section I'll show you how to decorate these using the acrylic paints.